Wow, I don't know how to stream anymore. Greetings and salutations, everyone. Hello, I'm alive. I'm back. Hey, hey, can you guys hear me? Yeah, my mic volume's moving up and down. Hello, everyone. Hi, Jude. Hi, my sweet cute Hanya. Scorby. Let's go! Yay! Slash! Hello, you're about to sleep. Have a good sleep later. Hello. Please be patient. I don't know how to stream and speak anymore. But I'm back. I'm trying to be back. Hello, everyone, for being here. Appreciate you. I initially, let's go. Thank you for the let's go, Scorpy. I miss you guys. I hope, even though I was so inactive and practically dead, that you kinda missed me too. I try to, when you guys stream, I try to learn whenever I can, you know? Just too stressed to like fully chat and stuff. But I'm back. I was going to stream last week with the release of Star Rails 3.4 update, but things happened. And there were times when I was ready to go live and I got nervous. Yeah, so and also there was this thing of debating whether I should stream in the afternoon or not. But we're here. I found somehow things lined up and I'm able to stream today. How are you guys? How have you been? I missed you. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you're not as stressed as I am. You're not as stressed as I am. What I've been doing is I was doing my projects for MBA and it was really stressful because one of the subjects is statistics, basically business statistics. The name of the subject is official name of the subject is data in a digital world, but it was just business statistics and I hated every moment of it. And along with that was another subject called, I'm sorry if this is boring, it was a subject called business strategy, and that one was easier for me because words. Strategy at the end of the day are just words, but statistics are numbers and I hate it so much. So if you're gonna open a business, no, I'm not. I'm so bad in numbers. And Scorpy, I mean, that's a great idea, but I think if you want to be a successful business person, businessman, businesswoman, business owner, you gotta be a little bit ruthless. You gotta be a little bit ruthless and aggressive when it comes to money, and that's something I lack. But I think, Scorpy, since you're good at math, you would be good in business. One of my dreams when I was younger is like if I got like a big amount of money, relatively big amount of money, I would just franchise like a 7-Eleven, and I thought that I would be set for life. Nah, Scorpio, I think you're really good in strategy and you're good with numbers and probably good with money, and that's gonna make you a successful businessman if you want to. I feel like this generation right now, a lot of them, they don't want to get like businesses. They want to become successful. Entrepreneur is a business. I don't know. A lot of people want to be famous streamers. A lot of people want to work for the best companies in IT and coding and gaming, etc. Now the digital age thing. Oh, speaking of digital age thing, I ran out of things to watch in Netflix and HBO Max, so I started rewatching Silicon Valley. Do you guys know Silicon Valley? It's about this guy named Richard Hendricks, who's a genius coder, and he made this app called Piper. But he and his gang, they always go into this silly, unfortunate circumstances, but they have a really good product on their hand. So every episode, every season is them struggling to get their app up and running and possibly in the end, they have 6 seasons right now, so I don't know if in the end they're gonna be like super successful and become billionaires in Silicon Valley. Yeah, I'm yapping. What else? Statistics? That suck. I have a little list here of things I wanted to talk about. Statistics, I hate it, but I guess it's really essential. There was a point during my statistics project when I was so stressed and I started hating my professor. I was like, why is he making things so difficult for us? This is supposed to be just data gathering and data presentation, right? But when I looked into his like LinkedIn, was it his LinkedIn or some page where he has his like history in there, apparently aside from being having a PhD in statistics, is a professor in a lot of MBA graduate schools, and he's also working on AI, which is great. I guess statistics would be very useful in AI. Just don't know how, but good luck to you, sir. Yeah, he's working in AI. Big thing. Probably can't explain it. Oh, Scorpy, have you finished the 3.4 story? I finished it yesterday. It was great. I loved it. What else? A strategy. So, for each week, we had to look into, not yet. Okay, I won't spoil it for you. But, if you're following the official story accounts, they released like a long animation video, which is a spoiler on its own, and I hate that I watched that before playing the story, so I was spoiled. But it was still as beautiful, even though I didn't experience the proper build up to it, if that makes sense. Yeah, I know, I don't mind spoiler. Oh, you don't mind spoiler, that's good. Headbutts. Oh yeah, another thing in my life right now is we have a new puppy. I don't know if you saw it, guys, on Discord, but we have a new puppy and her name is Bea. She is a teacup Maltese and she's white. Wait, I have a picture of her. But enjoy though, Scorpio, when you do play it. I hope you will like it as much as I did. I know you're skipping Finon because you want to save all your polls for the Fate collab. It's coming next week, right? Bea the Explorer. Where's Bea? Downloads. Is it on downloads? Yeah, this is Bea. Wow, that's big. This is the puppy. That we got. She is so tiny. She's less than a kilogram right now. She went to get her 5-in-1 shot today at the vet, and they were like, "Wow, it's growing so fast." She's like 930 grams right now, almost close to a kilo. That's how small she is. You can carry her with just one hand. She's really tiny. Yeah, she's a scrunkly look. She looks kind of dirty in this picture. That's because she is. She hasn't bathed in so long because she's been getting shots. And if you guys are familiar, whenever pets get shots, they cannot take a bath for a while. Slash, you're still here. Yeah. Very cute, very playful. She's just very energetic and a little bit naughty, but we love her. She's learning stuff. She's learning her way around the house. Yeah, she's small baby. So now we have 3 dogs, right? A poodle, a 13-year-old male poodle named Bambi, and then we have an 8-year-old multi-poo named Bonita, and this is the latest addition, Bea, who's like barely 3 months. I know, her birthday is March 16. She has the same birthday as me. She just turned 3 last June 16. She's gonna turn 4 in July 16. And maybe by then we can give her a bath because she looks so dirty here. But don't worry, because she's still a baby, she's not that stinky yet. She's beating the stinky allegations. So yeah, that's Bea. Maybe when she becomes cleaner, I'll share more pictures of her. Well, yeah, she is very cute as she is right now. Very small baby. So the statistics final project is done. The strategy final project is done. And now we are The subject I'm taking right now is financial value. Sounds scary, right? I am scared. It's basically about finances of a company. I don't understand it at all. But we're surviving. Maybe it's good that the classes are online. I can do the projects whenever I can. In fact, I can actually skip the classes, but I prefer not to, because you know, you might have questions that you need the professor to answer in real time. And aside from that, yeah, the star rail, in terms of gaming, star rail was the most wait. Star Rail, I just finished the latest Star Rail story. It was awesome. It was incredible. It was absolute cinema. I loved it. For those playing Star Rail, I hope you get through with it. I'm very excited for the next patch. We are just in 3.4. Apparently, the whole Amphorius thing is gonna last until 3.7. So there's gonna be a lot more revelations and twists, hopefully. What else? What I was doing my statistics final project. Statistics and strategy, but statistics was the harder one. I got my good friend Connie to pilot my WoWo account for me. Thank you, Connie, for 100%ing the new area. Ooh, in case I run out of things to talk about in a while, let's play some Wuthering Waves. Kinda missed my Wuthering Waves account. I did get Finon. I E1'd Finon. I did not pull for Finon's weapon. Why not? Because I'm really not a big fan of what do you call this, weapons. The only time I pulled for a signature weapon was for casters, because she is in the remembrance path, and we don't have a lot of remembrance weapon options yet. What else? Oh, I played Peak. You know the game? Peak. You should go for finance and signature LC Garvey. As much as I love Finon, I saw this guide saying that while the signature weapon is great, it's not as game changing as casters is. I'm sorry. Also, I need to save. I only have 50 pulls right now. I need to save for Siridra. Those who don't know, Siridra is an upcoming character. She looks a little bit like Farina, but she looks great, and she's gonna be like a harmony unit. Yeah, Peak is so fun. I'm sorry to out you, Slash, but I saw that you had when I was looking at my Steam library earlier, I noticed that Peak had an update, and I've only played like 2.2 hours of it, and Slash has 9 hours of it, and Jude and Yuffie and probably Mikan. Was it Jude? Are we friends on Steam, Jude? No. But yeah, a lot of people in my Steam friends list have played it for like 20 plus hours. So yeah, Slash has said 9 hours, Yuffie and the others have 20 hours. Meanwhile, I have 2. Did I enjoy Peak? I enjoyed it because I played it with you guys. Technically...
No, Taken_Warden just subscribed for 13 months.
Yo, Papi! Thank you for the sub. 13 months, let's go. Thank you for the resub. Hello, Papi. Good day to you. Good day. Thank you so much. Thank you. Arigatou gozaimasu. Hello, how are you doing? Are you at work right now? Or are you about to sleep? Bro, time zone, I'm not really familiar with everyone's time zones. You're getting ready for bed. As you should. That's good. Am I on your phone? Keep me on your phone until you sleep. Keep me on your phone until you sleep. But yeah, Puppy, I miss you. Thank you for always checking up on me. Just wanna let you know that I appreciate you, my good friend Puppy. That was my plan. Let's go! I love having I love having friends who are like the opposite time zone, and when they can catch me, they have me on on mute on their phone while they're asleep. There's not really a lot of you guys, but I love you and appreciate you. I thank you. Arigato. Good night, the puppy and the Oi, puppy. Do you know this meme? Hydrate. Oh, thank you for the hydrate. There's this meme going on, like, I'm a mom. I'm a mommy. Mamacita? No, I'm a mom. I'm a mommy. Do you guys know that meme? Maybe not a lot of you. I've seen it on Twitter. I've seen it on TikTok. Mamacita? And it reminded me of you. It reminded me of you. I am not a mom. She's the end. I don't know how to speak English. What she was trying to say was that she was a mother. And if that is fine with the guy. She has a 6-year-old. She's not just a mommy. She's not just a mamacita, but she is a mother. Yeah, papacito. Is that papacito? Is that the guy version of mamacita? Papacito? Well, yeah, thank you for the hydrate and the stretch. Tejas! Tejas! Hi, Tejas. How have you been? How have you been? Have you continued playing your Star Rail? Oh my god. I cannot rave about this enough. The Star Rail story. Chef's kisses. Chef's kisses. But I know you're behind the story, so it's probably gonna take you months. Months to reach the latest patch, but good luck. Are you still in Chinese place? Sianzo. Papacito works too. Oh, Papito. Papito and Mamacita. But Papacito works. I guess if you're like a super young Papito, you would be a Papacito. Despacito. Wait. Your tired head press for you. Is it evening where you are? No. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. Wherever your time zone is, you deserve to take some rest. Oh, hydrate. Despacito, mommy. What does despacito mean? What is despacito? I don't know how. I don't know the lyrics to that. Slowly. Slowly. Gently. I will lay you down. What else happened to me during my month? It was like a month, right? Or was it longer than a month? Oh yeah, speaking of peak, I got derailed. Star railed, derailed. Peak the game. I like it. I quite like it. I would love to play more with friends, but as a game itself, since it requires parkour and I'm very unskilled with parkouring, it's not that difficult. I'm just dumb. Probably won't be playing it on my own. I feel like I like Repo more because I can literally do nothing in Repo and still survive. OMG, it's Shari. Hello, Shari. Hi, Shari. Hi, Kitty. Hi, Ganda. Wait, I don't know how to shout out. Shout out, Siore. Hihi. How are you? I'm doing great. I survived. I lived. So I took a month of hiatus to work on my MBA projects, and it's a skill issue on my end, but the statistics one was really, yeah, I survived doing a statistics project. That was basically it. Guys, check out Shore. Yeah, Shore. Shore's very cute. Shore has a PNG now. If you guys are lucky, you can catch her playing with her PNG. But if she's not using her PNG, you will see her cute face on stream. Go check her out, right? Alright. What was I saying? Yes, this project was kinda painful for me, and sorry if I keep mentioning it. I feel like I have PTSD from it. What was I gonna say? Yes, statistics. It was supposed to be like a group project, but my partner and I, my stat partner and I decided the pain, the flashbacks. I'm so sorry. we mutually decided to work on it on our own because we were both doing it online, right? And she has work and I have stuff to do at home, and I was like, you know what, I'm so behind the lessons. Maybe it would be best if we did the project on our own, like solo, so that, you know, we won't have to wait for each other. Yeah, thank you for the head pat. Check out Shore, okay? Check out Shore. Pro gamer right there, pro gamer. What else? Oh yeah, Shore, I kinda remembered you. There's this event on Genshin that was kinda like TFT. and I have no idea how to do it, so I just skipped it altogether. But I was thinking like if Shore was doing this, it would be so easy for her. I did. Oh, you did what? I'm sorry. You did what, puppy? So yeah, there you go. Peak. Would love to play Peak more, but probably won't be playing on my own because it's hard. Going solo was a pro gamer move. Haha, well played. Congratulations on surviving. Thank you. Fortunately, it only went for like 6 weeks. No more stat for me forever, ever. Oh, you followed Shore. That's great. You will catch her during your mornings, I think. Yeah. Plays a lot of games, so many games. Just not like me who just plays gacha and some casual games. She plays really hardcore stuff, you know? Yeah. Follow the CEO of the raid. What else happened to me? Yeah, so there was the final project. We had the puppy. Right now I'm taking another numbers focused subject, but I think it's kind of easier than statistics. It's called financial value. If I'm not asleep or at work, that's fine, puppy. I know you drop by whenever you can because you're busy with work. I play hardcore stuff, but I'm a noob. No, you carry hard. Are you a math major, Celphy? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm so stupid. I'm taking up masters, or is it master? In business, MBA, Master in Business Administration, right? I need it because I wanna get a career in the government. You need an MBA for that. And I'm so stupid, I didn't know that MBA is a science. It's a Bachelor of Science thing. So I heard MBA, nah, it's M Master. Master, onegaishimasu. Not NBA. I wish. No, I can't play NBA either. I'm too short. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah. So it's MBA Master in Business Administration. Worm, kamusta? Hi. Hello. Good afternoon to you, Worm. Mommy be ballin'. I would be ballin'. Yeah. And my jersey would say, Mommy. Just mommy at the back, number 00, cause I am the original. I am the one and only mommy. Yeah. What else was I saying? So, what my point was, I didn't know MBA would have a lot of numbers because it is under the branch of science. I was bamboozled with statistics, and now I have financial value, and apparently next semester I have accounting. I hate it. The reason why I got into mass communication as my college course was that it had minimal math. Now I'm taking MBA, which is a lot of math. Smart, Celphy. I am surviving and vibing. But thank you. Arigatou gozaimasu. I don't know how to stream anymore. I don't know how to speak anymore because I have not streamed for a month. What else happened? That's basically all that happened to me. Final project, new puppy, and recently I played Star Rail. Should we play the Wuthering of the Waves? Because there's nothing new in Genshin right now. I already played the Archon Quest. I already played the Skirk Companion Quest. Character story. Star. I'm done. You started playing Wuthering? Really, puppy? Yo! A lot of gamers actually really like WoW because it's beautiful, graphically beautiful. The women are so hot, and the battle system is a little bit more challenging than Genshin and Star Rail. Continue playing it, puppy. Message me if you have like stuff you want to share about WoW. I love WoW. Wuthering. Siya, did you pull Finon? Verm, I did! I have E1 Finon. I don't have a signature, but I have him at E1, and I love it so far. It's like, after, when you start the battle, everyone does their thing. It's a 4-person, 4-character team, right? Everyone does their thing, and then Paimon just like takes over the game, over the battle. I love it. Sure, rating up master roles really do be requiring brain cells, so I applaud you, Celphy. Thank you. Thank you, Sure. That means a lot. I am trying. I don't want to disappoint my mom. My mom's paying for the master's thing while I'm jobless, so I'm trying my best not to, excuse my French, not to fuck it up. Hehe, I play for the women. Hehe, the combat is fun. Really, Poppy? Who's your favorite woman in Star Rail so far? Who's your favorite woman in Star Rail? Before I started stream, I was thinking if I could maintain like a just chatting thing for like 2 hours. We're gonna end at like 5:30 p.m. I don't know the names, but I have my eye on one. Can you describe what that woman looks like? Does she have black hair? Does she have white hair? Does she spin? What? Who else are the other characters? Does she have pink hair, white hair? Is she short? Blue! Blue! Who is blue in... does she have a veil? Does she have butterflies or flowers in her motifs, blue and white? Blue and white. Does she have a thing on her head, like a veil? Is it Shorekeeper? Does she heal? I was wondering if I could maintain a just chatting thing for 2 hours. It's Shorekeeper! Yay! I love Shorekeeper too. I love Shorekeeper. I don't know if you've played her story yet, but her story was kind of touching. Mommy knows. Yeah, I've been a day one Wuthering Waves player, and the only time I stopped playing it was when Coney started piloting my account. Like for 2 or 3 weeks, I think Coney was playing a game for me, but now I have my account back. Sure, let's go play WoWa. Nobody mentioned it, but I decided to play WoWa. Oh yeah, if I wasn't gonna play WoWa, I was thinking of doing, looking at Twitter with the guys and just yapping and stuff and react to it maybe. Elden Ring Night Rain, I've been hearing so many good things about it. I've seen some bad things, but we're probably the minority. Ultimate gamer indeed. Yes, Poppy is an ultimate gamer. I love how Poppy Warden plays a lot of like AAA games, really hard games, as far as I know. Then goes to try a gacha game. I love that. Should we WoWa or should we look at Twitter? Also, I tried using glasses. I'm wearing glasses right now so I can see chat better. It works. The tracking still works even if I have glasses on, so that's great. I play all kinds of games. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Would you play? I forgot the name of the game. Would you play? What is the name of the game with the suspicious siblings? I forgot. Randy and something. Gacha games require willpower, in my opinion. Almost went insane with not getting the characters I want. Ah, yeah, it's the willpower. It's the thing in your head that keeps you sane if you don't get what you want. Yeah. I forgot what it's called. It's not integrity. It's not audacity. It's the thing. It's a quality that you have to continue even though things are not going your way. I forgot what it's called. Celphy, my friend. Fairy! Hello, Fairy! Good day to you, Fairy. Happy time zone. Hi. I missed you. How are you doing? You play competitive games, FPS? Yeah, as far as I know, Warden plays a lot of games. FPS, a lot of games. A lot of popular games. Finals. Linvic City. Linvic City. Hello, hi, welcome, welcome. Thank you for the first time, chat. Unfortunately, I cannot read. Is that Russian? I can't read that. But hello, hello, hi, hi. How you doing? Warden plays everything, absolutely everything. I'm great. I'm happy to get to hear the demon today. Thank you. I almost forgot how to speak because I haven't talked a lot for a month. I'm just like downstairs, vibing with the dogs, vibing with my mom. Metro Exodus. Yeah, I remember that. Fallout, right? And the game where I forgot what it's called. I'm really stupid right now. I speak English too. It's alright. Can I call you Lynn or Vix? I know someone called Lynn already. What's your nickname? Otherwise, I'll just call you Lynn Vixity. That's fine. Hehe. Lynn or Vix. Hehe. But well, I hope you're having a nice day. It is currently 4 p.m. Monday here in the Philippines right now. It's so hot, guys. It's so hot. I have my AC on, but I'm still kinda sweating. Get your sweaty gamer girl right here. Wait, let me follow as well since he's streaming. Yeah, why didn't use the stream a lot? Why didn't use the stream a lot? I believe Warden will stream again when time allows it. I am planning to start soon again. Work hasn't pooped. Let's go! Let's go! Metro Exodus. So, whenever Warden streams, I watch. I don't understand it, but I love how Warden explains the mechanics and the story, and even lore drops like, you know, this game has this kind of music, this game has this kind of character, you know, the devs did this. I think Warden mentions that as well. It's really great. It's really great. Baguio people are freezing right now. It's hard to concentrate on work when I just want to sleep. Is the coldness making me sleepy? Give me some of your coldness theory. Yeah, I'm in Manila. It's super hot. It's 31 right now on the app. I have my AC on at 26. If I put it lower, it's gonna be really loud. So, you know, it's cold, but it's kind of cold, but I'm still sweating. I don't know if that makes sense. Yes, Celphy, there's a typhoon kasi really cold and cozy. I can just imagine you in you're in your office cubicle with your big hoodie looking all cute. Relatable. Yeah, I wish it was kind of cold here as well. Yeah, there is a typhoon. A typhoon. I don't know when I don't know if my area is gonna be heavily affected. Maybe it's super hot because it's about to rain really hard. Maybe I kept talking about how to play the remaster and kept pushing about the fear and the cool random encounter mechanics that aren't scripted. See?
At my most evil.
Filipina.
20_Invixity_20 just followed.
Invixity, thank you so much. Whoa, the TTS mentioned your XXS20. Let's go. But yeah, thank you so much for the follow, Invixity. Maybe I'll call you Vex. Let's see. LOL Filipina. Yes, owl bungee cord. I am from the Philippines. Are you Filipino? But yeah, well, thank you for the first time chat. Bungee cord. Owl bungee cord. I love owls. Owls are super cute. Hoo. Yeah, thank you for the first time chat and the follow, Linvic City. Please be patient. Please forgive me if I sound really awkward, more awkward than usual, because I went on a 1-month hiatus and I kind of don't know how to speak anymore. Take care always, Celphy. I hope you're in an area that doesn't go. Thank you so much, Shari. I don't know if it's gonna rain really hard where you are too, but be safe as well, right? Pile up, layer up those clothes so that you don't freeze. We're gonna be sad with the frozen Shuri. I started rambling a bit about Dead Space. Yes, I am hoping to visit in January. Really? January? That's a great time to visit the Philippines because it's not gonna be so hot. It's not gonna be so hot. You're a Filipino in the US. Hey, whoa! You're a Filipino. Do you know Filipino words? That's so interesting. I'm glad you found me randomly somehow. No worries, it's really helpful, especially when people want to get in the game. Yeah, that's a great trait for a streamer to have. When you know they're passionate about the game, they start telling you more about the game beyond what you can see on the screen, like more about the game, how you played another version of this before, your experience earlier, or like when I drop into the middle of a stream and they start telling, when I ask about the game and they say, you know, this is the story of the game and we are at this point so far. Something like that. I appreciate that when a streamer does that. Maganda Celphy, Pogging Fairy. Maganda means beautiful. I am beautiful.
Deviliaki just subscribed for 28 months.
Yaki, my delicious friend. Hello, Yaki. Thank you for the resub. Yeah, resub. Thank you. Thank you. 11 months straight. 28 months total. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Thank you so much. Arigatou gozaimasu. I bow my head. My model cannot bow, but I am bowing my head Japanese style. Nihongo style. Why am I being so weird? There's this part in Silicon Valley. This is this show I'm watching right now, where this guy named bruh, what's his name? Erlich Bachman. He's like doing some cultural appropriation stuff. And he gifted one of the main character a kimono, and he was like, you have to bow to me up until your waist because this is how the Japanese do it. But yeah, Yaki, how are you? Are you at work? Thank you so much again for the resub. 28 months in total. 28 months in total. Imagine being supported for 28 months. That's awesome, is it not? Yeah, Fairy Yaki's here. The gang's here. Oh, the amount of games I could yap to you about. I'm jealous of people who can yap about games they love. I keep forgetting stuff. Let's switch to... Oh yeah, why am I here? So this is the game I was... No, not game. This is the series I was watching on HBO Max, Silicon Valley. So for those who are into coding, programming, tech stuff, might be good for you to watch this. It's really funny, I think. Yes, I'll be same. I'm jealous of people who can yap. Yeah, right? Like there are some people who can yap 3 hours straight, 6 hours straight. Bro, I'm running out of things to say right now. Let me tell you a really cringe thing that I do. Like when I'm about to stream or thinking of streaming, when I'm in the toilet, when I'm on my own, I imagine that I'm yapping to an audience and I think, wow, I'm so smart, I'm so funny. I should say that on stream. But when it comes to like right now, streaming, I have no retorts. I have nothing funny to say. I'm just, you know, imagining things. It's the same when you like get into a fight or an argument with someone, and when you're in that moment you have no good comebacks, but when you're in the shower you're like, I should have said this, I would have burned them, I would have roasted them. It's okay to enjoy hearing your rap randomly. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry. Did you guys know a random fact? For most of my childhood in school, I am always honored best, most behaved. I was always without fail every year, every end of the school year, I am awarded most behaved because I don't talk. I don't talk in class at all. So maybe this is me making up for the years I didn't speak. I don't know. Oh, no storage. Please finish that game. The story setting is so good. I love it. Yo, let's go. Did you guys know that I recently used my SSD, my 1TB SSD? And it's great. I play Starreal on it. It's slow, but it's fine. It doesn't crash. It doesn't freeze, so I'm okay with it. Why are we on Silicon Valley? Oh yeah, I wanted to look at Twitter. Twitter. Is there anything we can look into Twitter? Hopefully not our 18 ones. Hopefully. What do you even say when someone knocks on your bathroom stall? What's the protocol? I usually say like, I'm here, or someone's in here, or chotomate. Not really chotomate, but in Tagalog I say, wait lang po. That sounds stupid now that I think about it. I'm just saying there's someone in here and wait for your turn or something like that. Oh my god, it's my Misha! It's my baby! Yes, yes, wait lang po. Or kaya may tao. When you're like in a public restroom, right? And someone knocks on it, why are they knocking if they know that it's locked? But anyway, I just say, wait lang po, or may tao po. They'll like say, I'm in here, please wait, because I am not done. Fart. There are some people who can fart on command, right? I can't. I cannot fart on command. Also in movies or TV shows, in comedy, they show people who can pee on command, fart on command, poop on command. I can't do that. Saying hello from school. Hello, school, Misha. How are you, my baby boy? Was it your birthday yesterday? It was your birthday yesterday, right? If you don't mind me asking, how old is my Misha? How old is my baby? You're not home yet. Get home! Get home! I'm just kidding. Are you out with your friends, or are you on your way home? Are you gonna go get some milk tea? Yun nga, why do people know when it's closed? Exactly! Why would they? Unless they're like in an emergency, they need to puke or they need to poop so bad, they need to knock and tell you that, please hurry up, I am going to explode. At home though, I don't know why sometimes my mom knocks or my brother knocks and I'm just gonna say, wait! Because they know it's your voice, right? Wait! My birthday was yesterday. Everybody, if you can please just wish Misha a little belated happy birthday. Belated happy birthday, baby boy. I hope it was good. I hope you had good noms. I hope you had good noms. Oh my god, look at that. Look at that My Day figurine. It looks like an Android, right? But it's not an official one. He made this. I know this guy. He made a Boot Hill one as well. If only I had money, I would get that and the Boot Hill one. Yeah, happy birthday, Misha. What? That's not Nendo. It looks like a Nendo, but it's not an official Nendoroid. I believe this guy makes it. This guy made a Boot Hill one as well before. Oh, Riceley! See? Made the Riceley sculpting in ZBrush. Oh, is the process of him making the thing? I guess he makes it I don't know, the model on PC and then 3D prints it. Really cool. Fan made, but still so excellent. Is that Finon? Is that gonna be Finon? Wait, Fairy, you want a Labubu? I'm sorry, but I do not like Labubu. It's ugly. I'm sorry if you like it. It's ugly. Maybe it's so ugly that you find it cute, and that's valid. That's fine. I'm gonna check on y'all later. My friends are asking me to play. Yo, let's go enjoy, Misha. Thank you for dropping by, even though you're not home yet. I missed you. I miss you more. I miss you more. Thank you for dropping by. Belated happiest birthday. They are horrendous. Sorry, Fairy. We have a bit of a consensus here. Lawubus are ugly, but they are funny. There's this trending thing on TikTok, I guess, and on Twitter. This girl, I don't know, she has an accent, maybe a European accent, and she keeps posting that she has the world's only 24-karat Labobo. Labobo. I can't do the accent. Labobo. It was funny. You can spice them. You understand? OMG, sorry, but yes, I agree with. It started, wait, not a long time ago. A long time ago, before I even had this model, the Labubis were starting to pop off here in the Philippines. Everyone and their mother wanted a Labubu because K-pop stars were like posting photos with their Labubus in their bag. My brother eventually got a Lafufu and an original Labubu, and I was like, why do you like this? Why do you like this? It looks scary. It doesn't look that cute, honestly. Beanie Babies. Oh yeah, Beanie Babies were like a big thing in America before, right? Like a cult. almost cult-like following. Everyone was eating up the Beanie Babies, collecting them, hoarding them, selling them at exorbitant prices. It was almost like a stock option thing. Yeah, the Beanie Babies. Everyone is going crazy. Sunny Angels, they're slightly cuter than Lawubus, but they are still kinda scary. Yay, thank you for the head up at the modern Labobo. I have the one and only, the world's only 24-karat Labobo. And fake Labubus are called Lafufu. 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 So that's how they do it. They do the imaging on their PC and then they print it with the 3D printer. I don't know if they paint it themselves. Can 3D printers paint as well? I have no idea. But if he's the one who paints it, then that's awesome. This is my day. Yeah, the Boothill one is really cute. Look at him with his little gun. With his little gun. Lola fufu. I don't think so. What? Oh yeah, people are saying they're surprised that a guy made something like this so cute, like something so as cute as this. It usually is the girls who make really cute fan-made merch, but now you know guys can make them too. And he's making guy models. Does he even make female characters? So that's the gang. Boot Hill, my day. Sunday. All of them look great, and all of them look so good. They're almost like official Nendoroids. Up close it looks even cuter. It doesn't look chopped at all. As the kids say, chopped means ugly or something like that. Lived with an active serial killer, engaged to his daughter. A serial killer engaged to his daughter. His family picnic locations were places he'd dumped bodies before he was caught. Interesting. I've been playing Marvel Rivals. I know. I think Shori has played that, if I'm not mistaken. Apex. Yeah, Apex a lot. She is a predator. CS, Counter-Strike, KFT, and Osu. I saw you playing Osu as well. One time you said, I don't know what to play anymore. Let me just pull up Osu. Is it Osu or Osu? Venom, Ozzy Osbourne having young blood. I don't know who that is. I've seen this many times before. I hate Apex, not really. Warden, you played CS, right? You played CS before? Neuro-sama. I learned about the concept of hygiene today. Quote unquote hygiene. Congratulations on learning about hygiene. Do you even have to do real hygiene since you're an AI? Apparently, I should have been doing this all this time. I don't see the point. Don't we just get dirty again anyway? I used to think like this when I was a kid. Like, why do I have to take a bath every day? Just to get wet? Just to dry myself off? Use shampoo? Use soap just to get dirty again? I was very lazy with my hygiene when I was a kid, even until adulthood. I mean, I do skincare every day, but I feel like it's such a chore. Whenever I'm doing skincare or washing my face or brushing my teeth, I have to be watching something because it's so boring. Never mind, I'm back. It took long. They started without me, Misha. Welcome back. What were you guys gonna play anyway? Ads! I'm sorry! Damn, Twitch has no chill. I don't stream for a month, and the moment I come back, they still play ads on my stream. What do you think I am? Do you think I'm a big streamer? Do you think you're gonna get a lot of ad revenue from me? Nuh-uh, I don't think so. What's this? Fairy didn't respond. I'm sorry, Fairy. If you think Lawubus are cute, you do you. I just hate them. I just hate them. Me doing skincare at 3 a.m. Nakakatawan. I know, right? I know, right? I'm taking shortcuts though. Sure, I don't know if it's gonna affect me in the long run when I get older. I do most of my skincare at night. In the morning, it's only wash my face and sunscreen. At night, that's when I do the serums and the moisturizers. Yeah, your skin looks so good though, so maybe you have a lot of stuff that you do, or maybe you're just naturally beautiful. I don't know. Console gamer. Yeah, Warden is a console gamer. Another amazing thing is how Warden is able to connect his console to Twitch or to OBS. Oh, blood. Blood. Why are we thinking about blood? People with whack ass powers must be so mad she can do shit like this on accident. I don't know what that is. Typing this in a notepad because I don't want to attract bots. I really want to follow lots of people in the VTubing community. I am at 2,900 following and I want to get to 5,000 one day. I really prioritize getting famous online. I want to support everyone I see whenever I have the energy to. Good luck with that, Muriel Maki. Follow everyone to your heart's content. You can do it. Am I following her? She's following 3,000 now. Never ask a lady her age. Never ask Alice Himor. I don't know who that is. Why are you being like this right now, Twitter? Sometimes Twitter just pops off. Every post is like so funny and so relevant to me. Right now, it's not doing that when I'm on stream. Why do that, Twitter? Why crying? Second reason. Say, wait. I wanna get a PC sometime. You should. You should. Wait. So, how do you play? How do you play Wuthering Waves? Is it on your phone? Is that on your phone? Actually, I thought about going to visit to the reasons. Main reason, food. And I am the second reason. Valid. That's fine. Understandable. Our food is good. Very good. Thinking of food again. We must not think of food or I will get hungry. Thank you for the headpat, Misha. Did I miss the headpat? I'm sorry, I didn't see it, but thank you so much for the headpat though. Wait, did you ever answer me what you guys? Y'all want PC, I want console. I'm sorry. It's fine. It's fine. Being second reason is really great. Yeah, Misha, I don't know if the ads played while I was asking you this. What were you supposed to be playing? What were you supposed to be playing with your friends? It's okay, Papi. I really appreciate you. I am glad. I am honored to be the second reason why you visit the Philippines. I mean, there could be so much more. First one, food. Second one, beaches. Like a beach where you swim, right? What other reason? The friendly people, the culture. MLBB. Oh, you were supposed to play a round of Mobile Legends with your friends and then they started without you. How dare they? No, you are the first and number one reason I am making you rush. Thank you so much. Yes. Yes. If you have no reason to visit the Philippines, your only reason should be me. Just kidding. Celphy, nagkaon ka na ba, lab? Nagkaon ka na ba, lab? Na-imagine ko tawa ni Celphy. I have different kinds of laugh. I haven't eaten yet. Sure, missing ako ng tanghali. Gumising ako ng tanghali. I had coffee until like 2 p.m. because I take my time drinking coffee. And then at 2 p.m., 2:30ish, I started preparing for stream. There was not a lot of preparation. I was just testing things out. And then I started streaming around 3 p.m. So I have not eaten yet. Ang daming sat-sat. Tinatanong ka lang naman kung kumain ka. Ano ba yan, girl? Anyway, I almost drowned like 7 times throughout my life. Oh no, Misha is a miracle baby through and through. Cause I almost drowned 5 times because I'm stupid. You're stupid, lovingly. lovingly. It's adorable when people are not super intelligent sometimes, like me. Order food, pero relatable. Gising at noon 12 kasi shift ko, haha, kaya same sa coffee. Let's go! Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. You're like mid-shift, right? Mid-shift is the absolute best. I used to work a mid-shift shift before. It was awesome. Wake up in the afternoon. Oh no, wake up at noon, go to work in the afternoon, have your quote-unquote lunch during dinner time. I miss those days. I miss my friends before. That reminds me, a customer gave me Filipino food they made. Borden, what was it? Isa, I'm not listening at the meaning, I'm just listening to you. Wait, Monday! Usually your meetings are Fridays, right? Bakit Monday na Monday may pa-meeting? Ano yarn? Ano yarn? Listening to me. Oh, wait. There you go. BGM. My little BGM right here. It better be adobo. Yeah, what was it? The daily meetings between oh my talaga. Oh my talaga. And it's nice that I think the consolation is that you won't be leading the meetings. You can just be there and grace them with your presence, and then that's it. I hate it when there are meetings where I have to present. Oh my god. Oh my god. No. I don't remember what it was, but I showed Celphy for sure. I forgot! Must have been good. Oh yeah, yeah, I remember. I remember you sending me the Filipino food, but I forgot what food it was. And I was just telling you, I hope it was really yummy. I forgot. Misha, sorry, I forgot it was. But it was good. It was good. I love how people outside the Philippines can try Filipino food and they are good Filipino food. Because sometimes when you don't cook it right, it can be not so good sometimes. Hey, thank you for sharing the Filipino food you had before. I was debating whether I should call you Papi or Warden. Pardon. Pardon. I waited for weeks for your next video. I'm sorry, Misha. I don't know if you saw it on Twitter, but yeah, I took a break because I had to finish my statistics project. It wasn't supposed to be that hard, but it was hard for me because I suck at math and numbers. It was worth it. Thank you. I remember what you told me. What did I tell you? F math. Mikan, hello, Mikan. Hi, Mikan. Magandang hapon, my dear friend. I missed you. I miss everyone. I miss us talking about curry. So much time has passed that your cousin has come over and you made the curry already. Hey, Mikan. I don't know why, but I suddenly thought of the gacha, the hot gacha right now, the Uma Musume. Do you play that? I feel like it's something that you might be interested in. The horse girls. It's so cute. I know I watched the anime a long time ago. I remember liking the anime. And now the gacha is popping off, and I just learned that for some reason it's on my Twitter timeline. The girls are playable. Horse girls are based on real life Japanese race horses. Isn't that awesome? Lumpia and pancit, let's go! I love lumpia so much. Pancit, I love it when it's cooked well. Sometimes pancit can be dry, but you know, I love pancit sometimes. I love lumpia so much. I don't play it, but the song is enjoyable. I see. I don't know the song, but you know, it's interesting. Horse girls. I guess you're busy with Blue Archive. Blue Archive. Was it? Is Blue Archive right? So guys, for the non-Filipinos out there, aside from sinigang and adobo, which is always the top 2 recommended Filipino foods, lumpia is good, especially when it's like freshly fried lumpia.
Big Fairy 333 just subscribed with Prime.
Thank you for the Prime sub, Fairy. Thank you so much. It's been 8 months. Thank you so much. I'm sorry we were roasting Labubu earlier for a day. I will pretend I do not hate labubu. You told me to put lemon on the pancit, but I don't have any. Ah, yeah. Because in here we put calamansi on it. I know you guys don't have calamansi in there, so lemon would have been good. But that's fine. Pancit is still good without the lemon. The lemon is okay. It's okay. Fairy, thank you for understanding. Labubu. I like the labubu memes though. I love the labubu memes, especially the 24k the 24k gold labubu. There's an Asian market here. Lemon or lime could work. Yeah. I think Warden didn't have lemon at that time. Lemon. But papi, Mexican food, Spanish food, they always have lemon, right? Lemon. Calamansi and pancit is a requirement. Yes, you know the tangy thing that makes pancit a lot tastier. I can probably find most ingredients. Yeah. To be honest, hotspot lang ako sa kaklase ko. Mahina connection. It's fine, Misha. It's fine. So Misha, lemon. What was I gonna say? Yeah, Takis, papi. Takis is so delicious. I just remembered Takis because it's chili lime flavor, right? Chili lime flavor. Yet another ad. I'm so sorry. Wait, why so many ads? Did you miss me, Twitch, and just wanted to put a lot of ads on my stream? I love Takis too, but Takis are so expensive. I'm so glad that I tried it though. If Takis was available on the Philippines or in Shopee at a cheaper price, I would buy a lot of it. I told you about the kettle cooked one, dude. Kettle cooked one. Thank you for the puffer fish, baby. Thank you. Misha, come back. What the fuck was that? That was the puffer fish. Puffer? What happened, Bella? El puffer fish. We're back. Welcome back. Celery. If I was a vegetable, I would be named Celery. Spam and kimchi fried rice. Yummy. I love how sometimes you come across Korean recipes and they be using like leftovers or whatever you can easily find on your fridge, or when they spice up their I know they make their noodles fancier. I love it. And I think spam kimchi fried rice is one of them. It's not too hard to make, right? Because most people have spam, most people have kimchi and leftover rice. Agua fresca. What's agua fresca? Yeah, water. Fresh water. Is that what agua fresca is? Twitch is telling you to start drinking. Misha, are you 18 now? You don't have to answer it, but can you drink now? It's time. Agua fresca de Jamaica. He went to a restaurant called Fat Sammy's for friend's birthday. Wait, is that a Vietnamese? Is that a Vietnamese restaurant? No, you're still not drinking age. Okay. Next year. Alright, Misha, so you still have a year of committing crime, and you'll go and you will escape from conviction unscathed, right? At most they'll give you like a little probation, but that's nothing. Look it up right now. What? Agua fresca? Oh, Jamaica is Jamaica? Really? Why are they fat? Because they're fabulous. Hey, Mika, I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a restaurant in Makati called the Fat Fook. Fat Fook, F-O-O-K. Fat Fook. You fat fook. My favorite flavors of agua fresca is Jamaica and tamarindo. Tamarindo. Agua fresca. It's a beverage. It's a beverage? Agua fresca recipe? It's not a brand. It's not a brand. You make it. Arson, yeah. When I saw the arson thingy, I sent you. I sent you. Yeah. My first thought was you. I know. This looks familiar. Oh, it's Misha. Misha likes arson. Can you guys see it? Oh, yeah. Sorry for the big font. Can I hide this thing? Oh, there you go. They can be called frescos or aguas, non-alcoholic beverages made from one or more fruits, cereals, flowers, or seeds blended with sugar and water. Popular in Latin American countries. There you go, tamarindo and jamaica. Horchata. Horchata is a kind of agua fresca? Fresh too big. That's what I thought too. But it's a blend. It's a blend of fruits, cereals, flowers, or seeds with sugar and water. Yes, it is fresh water. Literally, if you translate it, horchata is another favorite. I've tried horchata. Horchata. Horchata can be alcoholic, right? Question mark. Atole. I think I've heard of atole before. Tamarindo. I'm guessing it's tamarind. Tamarind. A little bit sour and sweet. And what's jamaica? Hibiscus tea. Hibiscus tea. I see. Atole. I have commissioned some emotes of fairy. Yo! Exciting! The last art I've seen of yours, fairy, is the kind of spicy one. You and the beach. Summer fairy. Summer fairy. And I think you got the idea from Hanya, right? Atole. Tororo. Atole is a warm Mexican beverage made from masa, corn flour, water or milk, and spices like cinnamon and vanilla. Yo! Yes, Anna did so good at making that. Yeah, you're making me hungry. I don't know how we got food. Oh, Papi mentioned the Filipino food. Going to the Philippines and liking Filipino food. Look, it's adore. It's milk. It's warm milk with spices. Sounds so good. Sorry, mommy. We're now back to the food track. I am literally... My mouth is salivating. My mouth is salivating. Can you guys hear it? Coffee! Hanya! It's not coffee, it's atole. It's Mexican. It's warm. It's a Mexican drink of warm milk with spices, and it looks so good. You can have it with this one looks like cinnamon, but you can have cinnamon, vanilla, and you add. I guess the corn flour is to make it creamier. Hanya was someone, yeah. Oh. Speaking of Hanya, you gotta check out my girl Hana Sakura VP. There you go. Beautiful girl with a beautiful voice and a beautiful way of playing horror games. Hanya Sakura, you were someone. Were you lurking and you saw ooh, coffee. Ooh, beverage, I want that. Are you working? I hope your work is going well. You should totally, if you're fine with it, with coffee at night, you should go get a nice little coffee treat. Atole, the drink of the gods. I want it. Speaking of, it reminds me, there's this popular Christmas drink that the Americans have. I forgot what it's called, but I've always wanted to try it. Christmas drink with milk, potato with cheese. Yummy potato with cheese. Is that poutine? Poutine, or is it poutine? Milk punch. Eggnog. Yeah, eggnog. I've always wanted to try eggnog. Eggnog is not a thing here in the Philippines. I mean, eggnog the drink, but I want to try it. imagine a cold Christmas morning, cold Christmas day, and you have eggnog with you, nice and creamy, and guilt-free, no diet during Christmas, right? Eggnog but with milk. Yes, I wanna try eggnog as well. Eggnog the drink. We have a snack here called eggnog, but it's little round biscuits. It's yummy as well. Yeah, biscuit snacks. Yes, yes, Hanya. Hanya, one time I was lurking at Yuffie's stream and you dropped by, and I was surprised to see that you know what mumog is. Mumog is like rinsing your mouth, right? Hanya knows about Vice Ganda as well. I think it's so adorable when Hanya knows some, no, not some, a lot of Filipino stuff. Mulled wine. I'm stick with arroz con leche. Arroz con leche. Arroz con leche. See you later. See you later, Wisha. Thank you for being here. We treat you, my baby boy. You're going home. Ingat. Take care on your way home. Look at that. Arroz con leche. Let's see the description for the arroz con leche. Vice Ganda dancing. No, I'm really starting to like, you know, Vice Ganda is an icon, right? I'm really starting to I started respecting Vice Ganda more when I was looking up of popular Filipino cosmetic brands, and Vice Ganda is one of the pioneers in creating inclusive cosmetics for Filipinos. Chorizo! Chorizo! I got chorizo. Thank you. Thank you, Papi. We're talking about food. Now we got chorizo. Yeah, I much respect to Vice Ganda for not only being a big celebrity who speaks out about issues in the country, and they also made a very inclusive makeup brand. And not to mention, Vice Ganda is really funny. That's why Vice Ganda is very popular. I gotta get back to work. Oh wait, well, I gotta go to bed. Gotta work today. It's okay, Fairy. Thank you for being. Appreciate you so much. I'm glad you caught me. I'm glad you caught me when I returned streaming. Thank you again for the resub. Appreciate you. We shall be seeing each other in where? Anywhere. What was I gonna do? I did a finger gun thingy, like a friendly finger gun. I wish I had the finger gun toggle. I would like that. Finger guns. It's 7.7. 7.7 sale! Hanya! 7.7 sale! I gotta look at Shopee. I gotta look at Shopee later. Yeah, bye, Misha. Good night, Fairy. Good night. Thank you again for being here. Chorizo. Guys, here in Asia, Southeast Asia, we don't have Amazon. Well, some countries have Amazon, but Shopee and Lazada are the bigger shopping platforms here. And every month they do 6/6, like June 6, July 7, August 8, and so forth. And it's like big discount days, so you know. Good night, Fairy. Good night, Fairy, indeed. Yeah, at Tole, this was mentioned by Warden. You'll send more takis. Send more takis. It's expensive though. No need. You can send me takis in spirit. In spirit, yes. Taki. So yeah, why did we? Yeah. You mentioned agua fresca, then atole, then I mentioned eggnog, horchata. I've tried horchata before, but I think I will like atole more because it looks sweeter. Horchata isn't very sweet, right? I like lime flavored takis. You tried takis? Ang mahal, no? How did you get takis? I bought it in Shopee. I bought a really small one. Imagine those small chippies that we have. That size? That was almost like I think 100 pesos. $2. It's expensive. I don't care. You're getting takis. Wait. It's not supposed to be expensive where you are, right? But in here, yes, it is expensive. Takis. I just remember watching this girl group performing on the streets, and one of their fans were like shouting at the top of their lungs, and they were holding takis in their hand, and I was like, based. After screaming so much, you're gonna need some takis. You have pesos. Your peso is a different value from our peso, though. I bet our peso is cheaper. I don't know, lower value. Tita bought one day, and they didn't like it, so I took it. Yes, because it's spicy. It's spicy. It's nice when you're surrounded by people who cannot tolerate spicy, so you can eat all the spicy, right? Just when you have like kid cousins or kid friends, like small kids, and they ask, "Ay, anong kinakain mo?" Or like, "What are you eating? Can I try?" And you're gonna be like, "No, this is spicy. You can't have it." Hot take, I still like Asian snacks than Takis. That is indeed a hot take. It is. Hanya, have you tried V-Cut? V-Cut, Filipino snack, kinda spicy. It is yummy. You hurt me. Oh no. Is it the spice? Or, you know, I used to be such a big weeaboo. I thought that all Japanese, not all, most Japanese food products are superior. But when I could afford it, I bought some Japanese snacks. Some of them were good, but on top of my head, at the back of my head, whatever you call it, I know that deep inside, some of our local snacks are still yummier. I have nothing but Mexican candy. For some reason, Papi, I'm starting to think that a lot of your snacks and your foods have lime flavor. Lime or lemon flavor. See? Hanya says that some Southeast Asian or Asian foods are yummier, but she still has Takis in her fridge. That means she still loves Takis. If I were you, I would be so honored and flattered that Hannah has Takis. Tamarindo candy. Hair surgeon transplant. Who is this? Andrew Garfield? Oh, it's like the Spider-Man. Spider-Man. He has hair transplant. I don't care. He looks good. He looks good. Chin! Hello, kamusta, Chin? Hi, and good afternoon. How you doing? How you doing? Watermelon candy with chili powder in the center. See? Spices on candy. That's amazing. That's amazing. When I was very new to VTubing back in 2022, I was doing the stupid stuff. Not really stupid. If you still do this, more power to you. But I used to do stuff on Twitter like, "Hi, I'm a new VTuber, and comment below or follow me if you wanna be friends or collab." And there was this girl, and her profile picture was Andrew Garfield, and she was like, "I would love to collab with you." I just found it so funny that she's a VTuber, but I think she lost a bet and she had to make Andrew Garfield her PFP for a while. Gwenless? No! Took me a second, but now I remember. Gwenless. I think he was a good Spider-Man. Yeah, he was a good Spider-Man. I loved his movies as Spider-Man. The Gwen hurt me as well. The thought of Gwen hurt me. I remember binge watching all the Spider-Man movies of Tobey Maguire and this guy and the earlier Tom Holland ones, because I was gonna watch Spider-Man in theater. So I binge watched everything. It was good. It was fun. What I do not like is that I have not watched. There's supposed to be like 2 installations of the animated Spider-Man movie, right? I remember loving the first one. Spider-Verse, was it? The first one I loved. I haven't watched the second one yet. I don't know where I can find it. I'm good. I'm just gonna watch you before I go to work. Jane, I didn't know you worked. You have work? Is it because your school is done for now? Are you on vacation? Is that it? Or are you working on a school project? I'm sorry for being invasive. Oh, and there's this little watermelon candy covered in chilito powder. Called for big eaters. Chilito is so funny. Does chilito mean a little spicy? Oh, wait, chilito is little ants? Because you know, in here, our plates are called plato. Plato. Regular plates, plato, right? Little plates are called platito. When you said chilito, I thought chili is regular chili, chilito is small chili. I'm sorry. It was funnier in my head. I am working and I still need to enroll. Are you a working student, Shane? Are you a working student? If so, that is amazing. No, hormiguitas is called ants. Ah, hormiguitas. 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 Hormiguitas are little ants. Oh, that's cute. That's the hormiguitas. Hormiguitas. Platito and platita. Mamacito and Mamacita and papacito. Platita. What was the other one? Chilito. Chilito. Chilito? Type of chili powder. Our specific menu item from Taco Bell. Chili cheese burrito. Speaking of Taco Bell, there's a Taco Bell branch near my mom's work. I'm gonna tell her that we should try Taco Bell. I've never had Taco Bell. Mamacita Celphy. Mamacita, yes, I am a mommy. I'm a proud mom of 3. Proud mom of 3. I just gave birth to a little baby dog. Baby puppy. 3 months ago. 3 months ago. And indeed, a mamacita. I had Taco Bell yesterday. Yummy. What did you have from Taco Bell? Taco Bell is like this menu of like, is it Taco Bell or McDonald's? $5 menu, $2 menu. Taco Bell here sucks. I see. So that's why they didn't expand. That's why they don't have a lot of branches. Taco Bell, yeah, Taco Bell. Chilito. Because I know Americans love Taco Bell. Although they love Taco Bell so much, like for those with sensitive tummies, they don't mind getting tummy ache after, as long as they can have Taco Bell once in a while. That's how good Taco Bell is supposed to be, right? Yeah, my friends had a box full of Doritos, Locos Tacos. It's cheap. Is that tacos covered in Dorito powder? That's how I imagined it. I guess Mikan has tried our Taco Bell and it's not very good representation of Taco Bell. It sucks and it's expensive. No, I guess we're skipping Taco Bell. I guess. Yaki! Yaki burrito! Yaki taco! Thank you for the hearts, my beloved cat. Oh! Jufufu. You already have Jufufu, right? I remember Raccoon mentioning yesterday or a day ago that they got Jufufu as well. Jufufu from ZZZ. That is exactly what it is. Because I know there's a trend right now where they deep fry everything. Americans deep fry everything. They deep fry everything and wrap it in Dorito powder. Specifically the spicy Dorito one. I wanna try that. Doritos are not that expensive in the Philippines because they're like officially imported in here along with like Lay's, Doritos, the Lay family. Thank you for the Quintana. Here's a video of me reading smut. I love you, KB0, but I will not play that. What if it's so spicy? No, sussy. Spicy is fine. Sussy is dangerous. The food trucks! They keep mentioning that the best food trucks, you won't find... the best tacos... the best tacos and Mexican food, you won't be finding them in restaurants. You will find them in food trucks. Deep fried Celphy, nah! No deep frying me. Deep fried yaki though. Did you see the... Did you see the picture I sent you on Discord like a couple of hours ago? I forgot where it came from, but it's It's a cat about to be fried, topped with cilantro leaves. Cilantro? Cilantro. Did you guys know that cilantro is good for bad breath? It's just a random trivia I learned yesterday. If you feel like you've got bad breath after eating or after eating something garlicky, munch on some cilantro. It's gonna give you good breath, fresh breath, or something like that. Who want me? Who's this? I don't know who you are. That's why it tastes like soup to some people, Lord. It tastes like soup to me. Does that mean I have bad breath? Does it taste like soup? It's supposed to clean your mouth. Cilantro. You know pho, right? PHO pho. Pho noodles, pho Vietnamese noodles. I don't like having cilantro in there because it tastes like soap. Tastes like soap. What's this? The Chemical Romance 2025 Philippine tour date. Welcome to Emos Cavite. Yeah, you need to be a Filipino to get that because there's a area in Cavite that's called Emos. They made it Emos. Okay. Mommy has stinky mouth and so what? I don't like brushing my teeth. Hygiene is a chore for me. It's so boring. Taking a bath if you're not listening to music or a podcast, boring. Doing my skincare without watching anything, boring. Brushing my teeth after every meal, boring. Because then you'd have minty mouth. I'd have minty mouth and you can't eat snacks for a while. Celphy is back. Back again. Nya nya nya. I was also thinking, what if I went back with a bang and did a karaoke? But alas, I was too lazy. I was too lazy to think of songs to sing for my comeback karaoke. So just a little preview what's going on in my mind, okay? Karaoke where I sing only Tagalog, no, not Tagalog songs, Filipino songs, or a karaoke where I sing only old school Japanese anime songs, or a karaoke where I sing only sussy songs, or a karaoke where I only do rap. Those are the things going on in my mind. I don't know if I can pull them out, but they sound fine, right? You know, cilantro, cebola asada, salsa roja, sussy. No, sussy songs, just sussy songs. You know, there's a lot of sexy R&B songs, right? What if the whole playlist of karaoke songs was just sexy songs? You know, like do you guys know Pony by Genuine? The Magic Mike song. Anyway, yeah, songs like that, sussy songs. What is cebola asada? Cebola asada. No, I don't. No, you don't. Wait, is opera na Genuine Pony. Wait, I don't know. You guys know this song? It's a Magic Mike song. Apparently, this is the most requested song in strip clubs. Why do I know that? That's a secret. Wow, 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 wow. When I first heard this, I thought it was a woman singing. Apparently, now I know it's a man. Well, I've only known it was a man. Why do you know that, Mommy? Because I was following this stand-up comedian. Before they were a stand-up comedian, they used to be a DJ at a strip club. Apparently, strip clubs have DJs. Isn't that like an interesting job to be a strip club DJ? And one of the most played songs you can never go wrong with Pony by Genuine. Genuine. Yeah, they have DJs. I thought they had like just like playlists and then the girls would do their thing while the music plays. They have DJs. So maybe during their downtime when no one is dancing on stage, they would have like music, time for music, right? Don't ask how I know. I won't ask Papi. Papi is a wholesome guy. I'm sure you've never been to a strip club. Wink wink. Why are we talking about strip clubs? Do we have strip clubs here in the Philippines? Yeah, we do. We do have strip clubs. We have red light districts as well. But I don't think they're that big anymore. I don't know. Nope, you've never been to. Really? But have you been to a bachelor party? Have you been to a bachelor? I have been to a bachelorette party. I do not wish to do it again. Oh, I'm going straight home. I'm staring at you. I'm staring at you, Papi. Oh yeah. What was it? Cebola. Asada. Salsa roja. Salsa roja. Picante. The raccoon emote. Rack attack. Salsa roja is so it's a sauce. It's a sauce. It's a dipping sauce. It's a dip. Salsa. Why did I not think of that when you said salsa? Bro, 2 ads. What? I'm sorry, Misha. I don't know what's wrong with my Twitch. I didn't change anything from my settings. I know now. It's because you leave. So each time you join again, you get a new ad. Like a pre-roll. Damn, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, baby boy. Welcome home. Cebolla. Cebolla, like La Jolla, California. It's cebolla. Just remember something my friend told me before while we were drinking. Something about she's gonna dance Magic Meister or something. Yo, let's go! You had a friend. You were drinking with a friend. Sorry, my mind is processing. It's loading. Wait for it. You have a female friend. You were drinking with them, and then she mentioned that she wanted to do a Magic Mike style dance. When is the dance happening? Why did it not happen then and there? Why? Is she gonna practice? Salsa roja. El Pollo Loco. No, El Pollo. Yeah, it's El Pollo Loco. We have a restaurant here in the Philippines called El Pollo Loco. It's one of my favorite chimkin restaurants, and the reason why I love their chimkin is because they have salsa dancing. Mikan, would you ever consider dancing Magic Mike? Would anyone of you guys consider dancing Magic Mike? Whoa, it's a Celphy. Whoa, it's a Rai. Hey, Rai. Hi. I missed you. Right. I don't know if you know this show. I've been watching this show called Dairy Girls on Netflix. And I just remembered you. It was really funny. But hey, Rai. How is the things with the Elden Ring? Boots with the fur, the whole club looking at her. El Pato! Is Pato Dove? Because Pato is Dove here. El Pollo Loco. Yes, El Pollo Loco. It was years ago. Are you still friends with them, Mikan? Are you still friends with them? Tell them that they owe you a dance. A Magic Mike dance. Oh no, their website's not loading. Their website is Pato is Duck. Oh, I'm sorry. Pato is Duck. If you see me dancing, I'm drunk. Let's go. Yuvi was talking about it briefly on our stream. I think even when we were playing Repo, like, what kind of drunk are you? Yuvi, as much as Yuvi, you know I love Yuvi, right? She's so warm, inviting. She talks a lot. Apparently, when she's drunk, she goes quiet. I guess we can. When you're drunk, you go dancing. Let's go. Saba is on a league of her own. Saba. Oh, the new, quote-unquote new VTuber who debuted with 200,000 viewers, right? Saba. She really is a league of her own. I love her. Now that she's independent, she's doing so many cool things with her model, and I love that for her. She has the freedom to do anything that she wants. Los Pollos Hermanos, yeah. Los Pollos Hermanos from Breaking Bad. We have our own version of that. It's called El Pollo Loco. I love this restaurant so much. I love their chicken so much, and can see it right here, but I can't show it. Yeah, they have salsa. The star of their show is the salsa. Wait, they have El Pollo Loco in LA? I thought it was a Filipino thing. If drunk, I probably sleep somewhere. You mentioned one time you got so drunk with your friends, you woke up in a different part of your city, right, Mikan? Los Pollos Hermanos, El Pollo Loco, El Pollo Loco. When I'm drunk, I turn into the I love you guy. Yeah. I kind of get like that when I'm drunk as well. Everyone is my friend. I love everyone. People I would usually not talk to, or too shy to talk to, I'd speak with them and tell them something I've always wanted to tell them. One time I got drunk during a corporate function. It was after the function though, and there was this girl from another advertising agency, and I just know that she has like some RuPaul's Drag Race merch, but I never talked to her. I thought she was too cool for me. And when I got drunk, I walked up to her and I was like, you know, I've always wanted to talk to you about RuPaul's Drag Race. Who is your favorite, etc, etc. But the bad thing though is that when I was not drunk anymore, I didn't speak to her that much anymore. But I always cherish our drunken memory. You still remember that? Yes, Mikan, I remember your little escapades. Your drunk escapade, or one time, or not really one time, you just mentioned that 7-Eleven is so far away from you have to take a 7-minute drink or something like that when you crave something from 7-Eleven. Mikan. Were you hugging a trash can though? That's like a trope, right? When people get like so blackout drunk, they wake up next to a trash can in a faraway place. Oh no, that's cute. Even cuter. My drunken escapade of speaking to people. I'm not so. I don't usually talk to when I'm drunk. Yeah, everyone is my friend when I'm drunk. Damn. It's like all of the introvertedness that I keep inside of me. It becomes reverse when I'm drunk. Now, when we get a drinking. So when we are drunk, Warden will be saying I love you and hugging everyone. I will be chatting with everyone. Mikan will be dancing, and Yuffie will just be in the corner. All quiet. We made a few mistakes here and there. I know. It's kind of funny when you think about it though. You guys know the Hangover movie, right? It's funny. I think it's funny. As long as you don't do dangerous, illegal stuff when you're drunk. Even though it's so embarrassing the next day, when you think about it in the long run, it's kind of funny. The things we do when we're drunk. Things we're usually afraid to do when we're sober. I want to rewatch that movie. It was so relatable. Yeah! Kind of want to rewatch all of it as well. How many movies are there so far? I just know my super favorite hangover movie is when they went to Thailand. Your car keys are calling you. Why? Aren't you supposed to be sleeping, Papi? We're about to sleep, right? Hi, I'll be on the same topic as you next week. Misha, let's go. I wonder what kind of drink you'll be trying. Secretly, I wish that it's not something that you'll enjoy, but it will be fun to know what kind of drunk you are. Soju, let's go. Soju. I had a little bit of peach soju last night, just like half a cup of it. I was thinking of adding Yakult, but then I was like, nah, we go in raw. We're drinking soju raw. Like how those rich people drink martini, brandy. Like They walk up to the bar and say, "Give me whiskey neat," and it's like a small cup with a like 1 inch of whiskey and a big ball of ice. I was drinking soju like that. I was doing the thing with the glass. Like, nah, I drink my soju neat. Oh, it finally loaded. This is the website of Il Pollo Loco. The chicken kids meals. No, too little for me. I want big meal. Big girl need big meal and big salsa. There is family chicken meals. Rum chata. Is that horchata with rum? Rum chata. Quesadillas. Oh, yummy. Oh, it's a brand. How many percentage is that? Because I know the usual horchata has little. It has big alcohol content, 13 to 15%. It's almost like wine, right? Or even higher than some wines. Yeah. why am I excited with the prospect of bigger alcohol? Oh yeah, because alcohol will make you eepy good. It's not a lot. What's the biggest alcohol percentage you've drunk, puppy? Are your parents bakers? Cause they made a cutie pie. Oh, that's you, chat. Cutie pie. Jack Daniels. Oh, Jack Daniels. I've heard of Jack Daniels. Isn't that expensive? That's expensive alcohol, right? One time during a company party, I was able to try Patron tequila. It was good, but I know Patron tequila is expensive. Patron, 40%. 40% moonshine. 40% Patron tequila. No, yeah, tequila. I also have alcohol. Yeah, Jack Daniels. Jack Daniels. What alcohol is it that has black label? Is it Jack Daniels or something? Johnny Walker. It's Johnny Walker, right? Black label, blue label. Apparently, it gets more expensive with the different colored labels. Tom isn't afraid to be around minorities. Are you? Has to be Arabian, right? Because we know that Tom Holland is married to Zendaya, who is black, so he's not gonna be weirded out. It was 54%. Your friend's whiskey. What do you mean your friend's whiskey? Did your friend make it, or did your friend just own it? I'm a lightweight, by the way. I kind of know that you are. I've known you for a few years, and I know that you are a bit of a lightweight drinker. It's okay. That is adorable, actually. Jose Cuervo. Have I tried that? What is Jose Cuervo? Is that also tequila? Jose Cuervo. It is tequila. Tequila! It looks expensive. Did your uncle or aunt make you try Jose Cuervo? Only a shot of it. That's fine. That's fine. Now we're in the Philippines, or maybe in other countries as well. We have legal ages of drinking, right? But you can help it. Sometimes you want to try it just a little tinsy wincy bit, and then you pretend, nah, I didn't drink that. I don't know what that is. Your cousins? I forgot that you have cousins. Espolon. 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 Casa San Nicolas Distillery, 100% blue agave. Agave. Espolon. Tequila Blanco. I don't think we have that there, or maybe we do. Maybe it's a and when you go to alcohol shops, alcohol stores, all the best ones, all the most expensive ones are in the top shelf or something like that. The unreachable ones, you have to call the sales clerk and like, what is that? How much is it? I can't reach it. I had your first beer at 12. My lola made me drink it. See, it's the adults even making us drink it. And sometimes they'll be singing, ano, gusto mo? Gusto mo nito? Sige, minom ka. Then you try it. And they're gonna be like, you want more? You want more? And they're gonna be like, mabuti nang sa akin ka na matutong uminom kaysa nasa labas ka naglalasing. It's better that I teach you how to drink as a kid than you learning how to drink outside and getting pissed drunk. My friend bought that last time. Me and his brother and her friends got together. I had 10 shots. That's a lot of shots. Maybe you're not really a lightweight, Warden. Maybe you're a lightweight compared to your friends. Your friends just happen to be very heavy drinkers. Maybe. On the fourth one. What were you doing during shots 6 to 10? Is that the phase where you were hugging and saying I love you to everyone? Shots 6 to 10. What else is this? Sierra Ortega, Love Island, USA. I think that's the thing. The Mamacita meme comes from Love Island. Now I know. By the 6th shot, that is where you transform into the most loving little raccoon. What is this dog doing? Oh, I didn't mean the full screening. Why is there no sound? Is there no sound? That's me. Every afternoon. I'm gonna say, I'm tired. I'm just gonna lie down and like scroll Twitter, and in a few minutes I'll be asleep. Celphy is Mamacita. No, really, I'm a mom. I have a 6-year-old kid. No. I have a 13-year-old kid, an 8-year-old kid, and a 4-month-old kid. That's really right now in bed. Oh yeah, stay in bed. Hey, did you ever answer why you said your car keys were calling you? Dogorito. It is a dogorito. Look at that. Get a baby boo. A puppy. A mommy and a puppy. I don't care about gold chip. Makos 496 is Finon. Spoiler alert, yeah. So we learned that Amphorius, the whole region of Amphorius in Star Rail is just a simulation made by Destruction for some reason. And Finon's real username is Nakos496, but we don't know if they're like real people who were like sent to Amphorius and then forced to do a million simulations. But yeah, Nakos496 is Finon. I don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm sure you do. My phone company gave me a free Apple Music offer, so I swatched over. I'm hearing things I've never heard before in my favorite songs. Are you implying that Apple Music has better music quality than Spotify? There was a time when I could afford both, and for me, maybe I just have noob ears, but for me, Spotify sounded better. I mean, sound quality wise, maybe just bad ears. Tsurumi Island and Feynman is Ru. Probably. Wait! Misha, have you played the latest main story in Star Rail 3.4? Don't hit me with chancla. No. I will hit you if you don't go to sleep. Go to sleep! Go to sleep! I've been yapping for an hour and you're still not sleeping, puppy. But it's understandable because we've been talking about delicious food and drinks. But yeah, you should be like, you know, eyes getting heavy, mind going woozy, off to ZZZ land. You can't make me. I will hit you with the chancla. Come here, you little papito. I will hit you with the chancla. There's so yeah, you should sleep soon. I implore you. Yes, I'm getting. This has nothing to do with our food talk, right? But I was kind of planning for just a short stream. We will be ending stream in a bit. Yeah, go to bed. I'll be ending stream in a bit anyway, puppy. I just really wanted to say hi to everyone. Try to do a just chatting stream. We are surviving so far. This is my first ever purely just chatting stream. Thank you for chatting with me, guys. Thank you for chatting with me. Appreciate all of you. Bro, lubed up for you 33 million times. Yeah, 33 million times and then 33 million more just to try and undo it. Crazy. I love it. Did you like it, Misha? Did you like the story? Did you like the story writing, storytelling? Because I love it. I cannot rave enough how much. For me, it was so groundbreaking. Such absolute cinema. Hopefully I catch you when I wake up. Nah. I will. Yeah. Catch me on Discord. Catch me outside. How about that? Yeah, you'll catch me. But yeah, I'm ending stream in a bit-ish. You don't play HSR? You do, right? How come you know so much about the story? God damn it. My friend told me and explained everything to me. Based friend. It's fine. You're Misha and you don't play HSR. How could that be? But you have a really good friend though, who's like willing to tell you about the lore and makes you explains it until you understand, and you're really so cute for trying to understand. Poppy's lurking. Good, that's good. I haven't heard that phrase for a long time now. Catch me outside, how about that? Yeah. You know, what's her name? The baby? Bad baby? Bad baby. Bad baby was good night, y'all. Good night, mommy. Good night, Poppy. Thank you again for being here. I appreciate you. Good night. Have the sweetest dreams, and yes, we'll catch each other after you sleep. When you wake up. What was I saying, Mikan? Yeah, Bad Baby was trending recently because she released a diss song. I forgot who she was dissing. Another musician, probably. And she was trending because the song was so good, but it's apparent that she had some BBL done. You know, the BBL butt thing. And that's when I remembered that's the girl with the Cash Me Outside girl. I play a little bit. I don't read the lore. I wanna get Saber and her Excalibur. Also, I don't really like turn-based games. I used to be afraid of Star Rail, to be honest, because I feel like turn-based games are like card games, and I suck at card games. And when I realized that you can basically autoplay everything, I was like, yeah, hook me up, sign me up. So I mostly play Star Rail for the story. For the story and the Hotman. The Hotman and the cute voice. And some of the females, I like some of the females. I thought she went broke. No, she's like super rich. She opened an OnlyFans. Bad Baby had an OnlyFans when she turned 18, and she earned millions from that. Hopefully she has like a good financial advisor or something. She can even afford a BBL. I don't know if BBL is that expensive, but yeah, I think she's not super broke. Hopefully she's not, because apart from being a disrespectful child, she has like some cool things about her as well. But that's the problem, the autoplay. It don't got any thrill. You still want a little bit more challenge in your battles. Damn. Yeah, at least you have, like right now, a friend who's willing to explain stuff to you. And what was I gonna say? Misha. You can watch YouTube videos about it as well. Saber Fate collab is coming next week, I think. Yeah. So, you know, if you wanna get the Saber, log in next week. I want the thrill of me almost dying to a level 10 slime at AR 50. How did you reach AR 50 and die to slime? Did you just not bother to level up your characters? But to be fair, I think I was around AR 40, AR 50 when I realized the importance of artifacts. I was so scared of doing artifacts for some reason. So yeah, wrong chat right now. I'm not really in a liberty to buy any drink or alcohol that I want, but this looks interesting. The only time I get to eat yummy food is when I'm with my mom outside because she pays for it. I only get. Oh yeah, I remember that you were not a very veteran player of Genshin. I remember I was streaming before and you mentioned that you were having a hard time getting good artifacts for Arlecchino. Yeah. Mualani, those are really goated, Kaza. Mualani and Arlecchino, Changli and Raiden are almost finished. Let's go. You got the Archons. I got my latest character is Kirk and I love her so much. She's so strong and I'm so glad that I have, well, I don't have her best PM, but I have Layla for shield and Farina as my water applicator and healer and Barbara as my healer. It works really well. She can do 40k per hit sometimes. Skirk. Bad Guy by Billie Eilish is the most streamed alternative song in Apple Music. Is it alternative? It is pop. I feel like Bad Guy is a pop song. This may be a reach, but why does Dr. Ratio of the Genius Society crown himself with the same thing that people of Amphorius do? Yeah. Why does he look like an Amphorius character? Is he involved in any way with the 33 million simulations? Sana all my Skirk. Is Skirk still there, right? You know, Misha, I didn't really want Skirk from the get-go. I really wanted Dahlia. You know Dahlia, right? I really wanted Dahlia. But I got a surprise Skirk and I'm happy with that. Just like how I got a surprise. What's her name? The pretty lady from Fronting? Geo girl. Yeah, did you ever get a Dahlia? I only got one Dahlia. But that's fine. Dahlia is so sassy and Dahlia has an attack called Surprise Baptism. That's so funny. Bruh! Misha, what is the name of the really strong Geo girl from Fontaine? It's not Farina. Navia! I didn't want Navia at first. I just got her from wanting Cave. But now I have like two of the strongest female DPSs because of wanting the boys. Surprise baptism wish, exactly. That made me want Dahlia more. So sassy, he likes gossiping, and you know that you probably already know this, but when people want to talk to him as a deacon, he takes them to the tavern so that they can get drunk and confess more to him. It's kind of funny. Artists, what do you guys honestly feel when you see a repeat customer? I can't relate. Mormons really don't give a f that their religion is super weird. They're happy, their teeth are white, no cavities, their kids are well dressed and polite. They have fun, and if you tell them they're weird, they're just like, haha, want to play volleyball? I can't relate. I don't know what Mormons do. Yo, tell me what you want. Navia can one hit a level 180 normal if you have the correct stats. But Navia isn't that song. She can hit 100k sometimes, but I've never, none of my characters have ever hit 500,000 or 1,000,000. That is the dream though. Narwhal used to be my pain. Now it is the chess weekly boss. Look at this ramen. It looks good. Shinramyan black. Egg. Seasoning. Mayo. Chess was easy. I guess it's easy if you have a freeze team. I kept dying at first. Yum! I don't have Shinramyan black though.
I love you too!
Oh my god!
I love you too!
Coates is just rated with 37 viewers.
Thank you so much for the raid code. Hello code, Pyre code, Sunfire, Pyre code, Sunfire. Whoa, welcome raiders. Thank you so much for the raid code. How are you? I didn't stream for a month and I'm so humbled. I'm so overwhelmed. Thank you so much for the raid. I appreciate it. Hello, codes friends. Thank you. Howdy, how are you? Wait, did my auto shout out work or not? Anyway, what were you playing? I will find out. You're playing Genshin. In fact, how was Genshin? What did you do in Genshin? What did you do in Genshin? The last time I played, well, I play Genshin every day, but the last Genshin I did was, you know, leveling up Skirk and being pleasantly surprised with my Skirk. Well, hello, welcome Raiders. Oh, forgot to introduce myself. Please forgive me. I have not streamed for a long time. My name is Celphy. I play random gacha games, casual games. I'm from the Philippines, and right now we're just doing a little bit of just chatting. And I'm really sorry, but I think we're gonna end in a bit. But I appreciate you all so much. Please go and take care of yourselves. Code. If you have to eat and run, that's fine. Raid and run. I'm doing too much dire, much sweat. What do you mean? What do you mean dire and sweat? Is that the new endgame? Is that what you were doing? Is that what you're doing? I'm just lurking while I feed. Okay. Stygian dire mode. Is that the highest difficulty? I have not opened it. I saw a lot of people liking it or hating it. Oh no, a lot of people liking it on Twitter. Like if you just have the correct team, you're gonna beat it. Apparently, have not tried it. I'm guessing it's still open, right? Bruh, as an F2P, I have no hope for the new endgame thingy. No, because with Imaginarium Theater, you can still survive with just having a lot of characters. I guess the new one, a lot of investments. Does that mean you have to you need to have really strong characters? F2Ps are hopeless with that. Bruh, I'm a Xiao lover and I only have Xiao at C1. He's the only character I have with the constellation as a free-to-play player code. So there was 9 hours of page, but did you manage to beat it all? By the way, hello Makotas. I'm sorry if I missed your chat earlier. Thank you for the first time chat and declaring that Pyre codes on fire. He's here. I hope you had fun. With Code stream. No. Oh no. Wait, Code. 9 hours just doing the end game. That's crazy. So no. I'm not cute at all. I just happen to have a cute avatar, but I'm really no. I'm ogres. No, just kidding. Thank you again, Code, for being here. And the final level, you need at least 1 million damage. Is that true? Per second? I'm sorry. Seribot has informed me that there was an ad. But yeah, Code. I'm sorry, but as Code's friends, probably ending in a bit. We'll just look at a couple more tweets, then we're ending. I'm sorry. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, you are cute. Thank you so much for being here. Even though I was gone for a long time. Check out Code, okay? Check out Code. Epic Genshin gamer. Epic gacha gamer. Code. I don't know. Yeah, I was gone for a while because I was doing my statistics project, and during my afternoons when I'd see you streaming, I tried to lurk and see that you've been doing a lot of Genshin. Sometimes you'd be using on your camera, sometimes you'd use your avatar. Imagine having the flexibility of, switching to whatever you want. If you're only at 90k damage, you're basically just tickling the boss. That's I would be lucky to be dishing out 90k. My Navia barely does that. She's Fire goes on fire. Thank you for being here. Yeah, You saw me on and you had to come. Hee. Thank you, thank you. Kisses and hugs for you all. But yeah, hello Chili Cheese. Thank you for the first time chat and thank you for being here, coming along to Code's Raid. Yeah, I was thinking of playing a gacha game earlier, but I was like, nah, I gotta challenge myself. What if I can do just for one stream a just chatting stream? And I kind of made it. Although like 50% of it was about me complaining about statistics and drooling, looking at food and drooling on food. We got some sleepers, Americans. Oh yeah, America, yeah. I wanna be American. Not gonna lie, yeah. The opposite of my time zone. Food. Yes, food. We can food. The max damage I do is 30k using Mualani. Maybe that's like normal for us free-to-play players, and those who are not like super obsessed with artifacts. Maybe that's normal for us. When we get like one of the meta, we'd be happy with just 30k, 90k, 100k, sometimes 100k or more. If we play our cards right and get like super busted supports and sub DPSs, maybe we can hit 200, 300, right? Kinda miss my Genshin. My Genshin is kinda dry right now. Why? Why is it dry? I mean, apart from the end game, I've done the Archon quest. I have done Skirt quest. There's nothing to do aside from the dailies and exploration. My bed. But not 30k per hit. 30k damage I can hit once in a blue moon. Not per hit, but a total damage. Oh no, Misha, it's okay. But you know what? The upside of that means you got busy with other stuff. That's why you haven't invested a lot of time building a super strong Molani. It's okay. The Americans, for those Americans who are here from Code Stream, happy 7th of July. Belated happy 4th of July. We had some good food and awesome fireworks. I am American at heart. Someday I will go to America and get a green card, and will get the benefits of being an American. Taylor Swift recreating viral internet memes and challenges. Taylor Lautner, his wife Taylor Lautner, and Taylor Swift. They used to be exes, right? It's nice that they're having fun, even though I guess it's been a while. This is what's his name? Taylor Lautner. We're half in Villa, not just like adventuring. Same. I used to be so stressed when I used to have 2 Genshin accounts. When I let go of one of the accounts, I felt so free. It felt like my love for Genshin has been reignited. I was able to freely explore the new area in that land. Almost 100% did it. I love it so much. Akane! It's an Akane indeed! Hello Akane! How you doing? Long time no see. Yeah, it's been a while. I was gone for like a month, I think. I was doing I was procrastinating and doing some, a school project. I found a place like the Abyss in Fontaine. Really? Oh yeah, you're good at finding those secret places. Hey, well, I can heart to you as well. Heart to you as well. We just got a code raid earlier. Now Akane is here. I was doing a random world quest. Bruh. Misha, someday, when you have more time, I would love to see you play the games that you love so much. Like Genshin, because you have so many things to say about the lore, the explorations, and you seem to like genuinely love like the characters and stuff. It would be so nice to know what you play, what you name. This quality is so good. Is it AI? I get bamboozled a lot because there's so much AI videos, AI animals right now, and when the quality of the picture is like suspiciously high, keep wondering if they're AI. Melge. Ooh, it's a cat with their octopus stuffy. We got a new Genshin monster named after a Philippine mythical creature. Oh, I saw that. Bakunawa, right? Bakunawa. Hey. It is nice to have a little bit of Genshin. No, Filipino. A Filipino lore in Genshin. Look at that. I am 680 away to clear floor 4 of pure fiction. What do you mean 680 away? Akane. Pure fiction. Ah, pure fiction. What 680? By the way, in pure fiction, I don't really bother with the fourth. Uy, Philippines. Yeah. 60k? 60k? Is that damage number? Akane, I'm sorry. I'm familiar with pure fiction. I do it when I have to, but I don't know what you mean by. So that's damage, right? Damage numbers? The points! Oh, sorry. Stupid. Too bad. Akane, did you pull for Finon? And are you excited for the Fate collab? Anyways, Kirk's story is sad and her childhood. It was really sad. I played it in 2 parts. It wasn't that long, but I had to play it in 2 parts. The last part was like really. I mean, even at the beginning, it was already sad when they reveal Skirk's past, her village that was ravaged and burned down, how she survived, and how everyone was calling out to her while they were dying, and she wanted to give up maybe or die as well. Then Surtalogi saved her and trained her brutally. You got Finon, Akane, congrats! Celebrate good times. Come on. I love Finon. But yeah, I stopped pulling after getting him to E1. And now I only have 50 pulls because I want Seridra. I want the chess girl. Chess. According to sources, Kirk is not from Tivat. That was what the sources say. She is not from this world. That is why she has made the abyss her home. Me too. I want her. Yeah. Akane, do you have Anaxa as well? Rumors say that Seridra is gonna be very good for Finon and Anaxa and the Big Herta. So I'm really excited. And she looks cool as well. She turns she turns her teammates into pawns. She's from a different place and she came at a different place by a ship. Yeah, some people were weirded out by a ship. You know how Traveler is revealed to have come to Tevat from a ship, and also Akane came to Tevat from a ship as well. But did they think it was like some magical star that carried them here? Shiverable, I miss Anaxa, but I have casters and the Herta. There you go, the Herta. Still very much a meta. Kinda regret not getting Herta, but it's fine. I did get Anaxa. I have a basic Anaxa. By basic, I mean no signature weapon, no constellation. I don't think he even has a 5-star weapon. Anaxa is great. Casters is better. The Herta continues to be a big meta. Despite all this super strong Amphorious characters coming out. That also means Surtalogi is not from Tevat. I did not realize that. Surtalogi is not from Tevat. I was so confused for a while, Misha. Like towards the end of the Skirk quest, I thought we were fighting Surtalogi, but it's just like an ex-friend, ex-disciple of Surtalogi from Canria? Yeah, from Canria. I thought we met Surtalogi, but we did not meet Surtalogi. Also, abyssal powers are from the abyss. It also came from the void realm. What is void realm again? Oh, what is void realm? I forgot. I gave up unseeing it. What are we supposed to unsee here? Looks like a pee-pee, no? That's a great editing though. Also, abyssal. Yeah, the void realm is where the abyss is. Ah, the abyss. Also, it's really sad that Skirk trained so hard and so much and fought so many monsters that she lost all her limbs and she just replaced it with abyssal power, right? Question mark. When bro and me haven't won a game in 4 hours and he starts changing skins. Yo, she's crippled. Yeah, technically she's crippled. She doesn't have arms and legs anymore. Oh my god, if she loses her power, does she lose her arms and legs as well? Prove that my generation had the coolest Spider-Man. What? Who? In Finan we trust. Amputee. Yes, amputee. There's even a meme, Jude, of Skirk. You know that anime meme of this guy who's only a head in a hospital bed? It looks like a bean. Let me look it up. Anime meme hospital bed. This one! Where is it? This one. I see it. Someone put out a version of this with Skirk's head on it. Because technically Skirk has no more legs and arms. Ritsukayo. Is that the name of this guy is? Ritsukayo? Ritsukayo. 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 He is from Baki the Grappler. It does look like a Baki character. Yeah, that meme. Will I find it? Skirk. Retsu Kayo. This one. Oh man, that anime girl amputee brings so much memories. What is the source of this one? I keep seeing this on Twitter as well. Bro got downgraded to infant. The source of this image. What a name. The Incest King's Cult. Image sharing site Dan Boru made a post on the image shows a heavily bandaged girl missing her limbs with her head tilted to the right. So okay, and Dororo. I watched Dororo. You guys know Dororo. I found it by accident. Not really accident. Yeah, I found it by accident when I used to have Amazon Prime. I was like, what's this anime? And I watched it and it was pretty cool. How it feels to be alive at 3 to 5 p.m. on Sunday. No. Why? Is it because you hate that Monday is coming? Lord Foog. No! What happened? My opera froze. I can't do anything. Is this a sign? Oh. It just froze momentarily. The other thing had the OG story. What OG story of the girl in the hospital? Let's try it again. An image of a bandaged girl missing her limbs. It's darker than what the... I didn't know it was this detailed. I only see like low quality versions of this on Twitter. How are you doing, Celphy? I miss you so much. I miss you too, Akane. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I'm so happy that I survived. I survived the project that I was doing that made me so stressed out and made me stop streaming for a while. Overall, I am so good. In fact, yesterday I went grocery shopping with the family and we ate some nice yummy Chinese food. And I have a new little puppy. So that's how things are. Doing good. Have you been doing good, Akane? I hope you are. How have you been vibing? Yeah, I'm glad I survived. That's why my title on this stream is I lived, bitch. Oh, it's always Danburu. What is Danburu? Is that like a Pixiv? Is that like an art sharing site? Yeah. I'm just showed a picture of my dog again. My dog. This dog. I've been keeping me busy for a while, especially when my mom's gone. I have to look after her. I have to take care not to step on her because she's so small. She's barely a kilogram. And downstairs we have converted all of our chairs to office chairs, so they have like wheels, right? And sometimes she would lie beside those wheels, and I'm so deathly afraid that I will run over her with our office chair wheels. Dog be like, no bitches. Yeah, kinda. Yeah, we can put no bitches in there. Look at her. Anyway, Celphy, you gonna stream tomorrow? Misha, no, I'm streaming probably on Wednesday. Why? Are you going home early tomorrow? No, I'm not streaming tomorrow. Tomorrow is no stream. I am cleaning the house tomorrow. Yeah, I'm still hoping I can stick to like MWF or MWF when it comes to streaming. I'm glad you're here though, even though this was unplanned. Okay, that's a dog. That's a dog. Now what? I wanna know. What the dog doing? The dog is judging you. How come you got no bitches? What? How long have you been alive? 17, 18, 19, 20, 25 years? And still no bitches? Just kidding. No bitches. Because I wanna watch my favorite Pinoy Oshi. Yo, that's me. Hey Misha, you were the one who told me about Ki-chan, right? Ki-chan. She's really popping off in TikTok right now. I'm really starting to enjoy her short form content. She did a What Happened Vela thingy and then she sang after that. It was really cool. That was really good. Yeah, just remembered the Pinoy. I am your Pinoy Oshi. I'm your number one. Just kidding. Ki-chan, yeah, Ki-chan. Guys, if you have ever seen, she streams on YouTube more, I think. She's also a really cool Filipino jalapeno streamer. She does karaoke's. Yeah, sometimes she does Filipino versions of popular songs, I think. She has a really good voice, like, I kid you not. She has like a really pleasant sounding voice. You won't get tired listening to her. Do I have anything else to show in terms of pictures from my phone before I let you guys go? Her song that she made to reply to the song Do It. What's JBKE? Made was so wow, 3 months sub, 3 months sub, 3 months sub. No bitches.
Why
Wow!
we just subscribed for 3 months.
Wow! Thank you, Vikan! Thank you. Because of that, sana dumami pa ang jogging kilometers mo. Thank you so much. Thank you. Have you heard Golden Hour? What is Golden Hour? What's that? This is falling in love? What's that? Is that the shorekeeper? A line from Wowa Shorekeeper? Or are you still talking about keychain covers? I'm sorry, keychain covers. Oh, the artist is JVKE, and the song is Falling in Love. Is that a song that was sang by Key-chan as well? Jake is basically Jake. I think you might have requested that before. So yeah, this is what's the name of this Pokemon again? Our local Krispy Kreme had a partnership with Pokemon, and they had Pokemon themed. Did you say ending? Yes, I'm ending in a bit. Yep. I'm sorry, Akane. Did you just wake up or something? I get home. Yeah, Jigglypuff. So my brother bought like half a dozen of the Pokemon donuts, and he gave me Jigglypuff because he knows that I like pink. Yeah, it was pretty sweet. It was late at night. I was vibing on my PV, and I heard knocking on the door. My bro was like, knock. I was like, who's there? You know, the usual ate stuff, like, ano kailangan mo? I was like, I have donut for you. And it was so sweet. He put it in a platito like this. Donut. This is a Jigglypuff donut. Teacher mong Jigglypuff. How much is a dozen again? I forgot. Maybe like, just roughly 300, I think. You know what? Let's Google that. Krispy Kreme. How much 1 dozen donut? Yes, Jigglypuff. No, I was wrong. 1 dozen of original glazed donuts from Krispy Kreme is 449 pesos. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8, around $10. It is kinda expensive. Wait, don't like Krispy Kreme. I love original Krispy Kreme. What's your favorite donut though, Mikan? If not Krispy Kreme. No, sorry. My brother bought half a dozen. 6 pieces of Pokemon donuts. he doesn't like spending a lot. So yeah, half a dozen. I saw there was a Pikachu. There was a Meowth as well. I ate a Meowth. I made a Meowth after that. Boston cream or anything with Bavarian cream. Yeah, because the cream in Boston cream isn't too sweet, right? It's just like creamy. I love Boston cream from Dunkin'. Yeah, Dunkin'. I want to know how many is in a dozen. Ah, that's your question. How many is in a dozen? It's 12. I'm smart. It's 12. Half a dozen is 6. Yeah. Yeah, I had a Krispy Kreme Pokemon donut recently. And then, for those who didn't see, I had ramen recently. This is Tantanmen. It's creamy, nutty soup. It was very delicious. I was craving for this for a long time. You said 300. No. I wanted to say my estimate is that a dozen donuts is worth 300 pesos. Chare. I misunderstood. I was like 150 donuts. Can I eat 150 donuts? I probably can eat 10 donuts in a day if I don't eat anything else. Or more. 10 or more donuts. I really love Krispy Kreme original donuts. Also, I love other flavors of Dunkin'. I can in 3 sittings. Let's go. Wait! 50 donuts per sitting? Is that what you're saying? Bruh. And then, you know, kind of made sense because you're a growing boy. Here is a picture of my other dog, Bonita. I just like her face. You can't see her face so much, but I think this is a nice picture of Bonita. This is the 8-year-old girl dog that we have. Eh, sugar. Megan, why? You know what? I used to hate sweet things before, but after I got sick, my taste buds kinda reset. I still love salty, spicy foods, but now for some reason I'm really into sweet foods right now. Like, they're so addictive. I drink 3-in-1 coffee and add more sugar to it. That's how much of a sweet tooth I have. I'm amazed I don't got diabetes yet. Basta ingat ka lang, Misha. If you don't have a history of diabetes in your family, you should be fine as long as you do not eat like too much sugar. Everything in moderation. Okay. Oh yeah, milk tea. Mahilig ka rin sa milk tea. And coffee. What else? So the ramen came with gyoza. Best gyoza I've ever had. The name of the restaurant is Mendokoro Ramen Ba. They have only 3 branches. 3 or 4 branches in Manila. Very delicious. Delicious indeed. Wow, gyoza. Yeah, gyoza. It's so, I feel like it's hard to like cook gyoza perfectly, because you can't just fry it, right? They do like, I don't know how you do it. A special frying thing. I get milk tea with 50% sugar level on the daily. That's supposed to be already sweet, right? Just enough sweet. Like, if you have a sweet tooth, that should be fine enough. 100% is too sweet. On the daily! On the daily, mayaman. Mayaman, may pangbili ng milk tea everyday. Well, that's fine. You treat yourself. You fry it, and then add starch and water. Ah, so that's the tricky part. You don't just fry it. You have to add starch and water and cover it to steam it. And second to the last photo is this. Look at this. This is roast beef sandwich I had yesterday. So after we went grocery shopping, my mom got tired and she was like, I'm craving Diritz. Diritz is the name of a roast beef restaurant, and I was still a bit full from the Chinese food, so I said, I will skip rice. I will have bread. I will have sandwich. And I did not regret, because even though I did not have rice with the roast beef, you know, you can see the bottom bread, the juices of the roast beef, it soaked the juices of the roast beef, and it was so good. It was really good. Roast beef sandwich. I imagine that's how much they love, you know, in America, the Philadelphia roast beef steak, whatever. and the last picture is more Bea. I don't know if I said this on Discord, but one time I was downstairs, and then I looked down and I saw this, and I was like, wow, that's cute. Yummy. It was yummy, Akane. It was yummy. Next time we go there, I'm not ordering the rice anymore. The bread, the sandwich was a different experience. You know, toasted bread soaked with beefy goodness. And yum 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 yum. Not the dog. Yeah, not the dog. Not the dog. What if it was too late? What if she really meant the dog? I'm sorry. Nah. I can just go with that. Nah. The dog can be very naughty sometimes. I feel like, you know, lovingly I want to squish her or like throw her across the room. But yeah, Chowking Siomai Chow fan, I can finish it all and still be hungry. For some reason, yeah, the Chowking Siomai Chow fan, it doesn't have like the best, what do you call this? It's yummy. I mean, the serving is kulang if you're hungry. The serving is not enough if you're hungry. That's what I was trying to say. It's very yummy, but then it is cheap. It's like less than $2, I think, or like $2 flat. So yeah, as all puppies should be, little devils. Exactly. So yeah, I've already had 2 puppies, right? I'm slowly relearning that puppies at their baby stages, they are like so full of life, so full of energy, and when they grow older they become lazier, they end up sleeping all day. This puppy is so, you know, little devil, bites everywhere, bites everything. She's really small right now, but once she goes a little bit bigger, I bet she's gonna be destroying a lot of things that are laying on the floor. Don't have cats, Agnes, sadly. They're very full of life. So they're gonna be very naughty, they're gonna be playful, they're gonna run around, bite everything, they're gonna eat a lot, they're gonna drink a lot, and pee a lot. That's what you get when you get a puppy. Be sure to hide your sibling. I know, right? Bonita, our middle dog. I went to Japan before. Japan! I went to Japan before, and I bought Japanese slippers for my mom because she wanted that, and I bought her that. It wasn't that expensive, but it's rare because you're only supposed to find those from Japan, right? Bought her that, and Bonita ruined it. Bonita gnawed at it and bit at it, and it was ruined. Oh, we're in Japan. I went to Tokyo, Osaka, and Kyoto, but the Kyoto one was just like a day tour. Yeah, so I stayed in Tokyo for like almost a week. Osaka for like 2 or 3 days, I think. Yeah, I miss Japan. Back then, when I was still a baby, I had money and I could afford to go outside. Oh yeah, after that there was a company trip. We had a free trip to Japan, but I didn't enjoy that as much as the first time I went to Japan. Yeah, Japan is really cool. If any of you are going to Asia, aside from the Philippines, go to Japan, man. Next time, go to Ihime. What is Ihime? Ihime? No, Ihime. Ihime, Japan. Oh, it looks cool. It's like a traditional place. I mean, a traditional part of Japan. The Philippines is beautiful. True that. Yeah, the Philippines. Yeah, you have Filipino friends, right? Yeah. Whoa. I guess this is where we end our little. You've seen Japan TikToks. I mean, TikTok edits of Ihime Japan. Can you send it to me? It's not showing up on my TikTok because I don't think I have conditioned my algorithm to include Japanese scenic locations to Japan. Wait, you don't have TikTok? How did you see the TikTok edit? Are they YouTube Shorts? Yeah, I'm getting hungry as usual. Mikan, you don't have TikTok! Nanda! No, just kidding. Understandable. I have Instagram. I don't watch Instagram Reels. I have YouTube, but I don't watch YouTube Shorts. I only watch TikTok. Those are my only two. Wait, Mikan, do you really not have TikTok? Because one time I saw this video and I was like, oh, I should send this to Mikan. And I was like, maybe Mikan doesn't like TikTok. Anyway, TikTok got all the brain rot. That is true. So there are times when you hit the jackpot and you see like really interesting and funny TikToks. There are times when you're just fed with a bunch of nonsense brain rot things. That's okay. That's okay. Yuffie and I wanna brag this to you guys. You know Euphonia Ove? We have a 40-day streak on TikTok. That means we've been DMing each other on TikTok for 40 straight days. Is it something? Yeah, I must brag about that. That's Euphonia. Anyway, yes, we are ending stream. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm sorry. And thank you for your patience with my blubberings and stuff. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Code, for the raid, and Code's friends for being here earlier. Bye bye, Misha. Mikan, everyone, I missed you all. Good work for today. See you next game. Thank you. I will see you around, Mikan. I'm so glad you see me again. I'm glad too. Ay, sorry. Oh, eh. Masyadong masaya. Girl, kalma. Girl. Girl, wag masyado. I can't help it. I should await. Guys. So, I'll see you again next stream. No stream tomorrow because we doing chores. I have a lot of Filipinos. Yeah, you even have a special Jollibee. You have Jollibee items in your Jollibee that we don't have here in the OG Jollibee. I'm glad you enjoy Filipino food and a lot of Filipino friends and Filipino restaurants near you. Seeing streams the best birthday present ever. Oh! I'm glad, as I wasn't able to give you like a physical gift. I'm glad to be able to catch you. Now I'm stuttering. Yeah, see you, Sophie. See you, Akane. See you, everyone. What was I gonna say? I love you all so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your patience. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day or your night. And yeah, see you around the Discord, Twitter, or streams. Yeah. Bye bye.